yeah, talking about how we feel excited and happy, it takes us back to history, how people wanted to travel, how during times of war, people needed connectivity through letters and messages. So an integral part was played by steam engines and railways. These are not just machines, these are time-traveling machines that have connected lives, people, and are a very prevalent part of history. And joining us in studio today is a proud heritage railway enthusiast who is a cultural ambassador. Ambassador, and she loves to travel. She is also both Pakistani and Scottish. She has ties to both places, and she loves to call herself a Scottish-Stani style of living, and it sounds very lively. We're very happy to welcome Alina Ansari.
Anila Ansari. Hello, madam. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Good morning. I'm very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful to have you over here. So I think first things first, we would want to hear your story. You know, rather than us asking you questions, take us through.
Okay, there's a lot of dimensions to my personality, but here I want to talk about my railway enthusiastic side. I'm a travel vlogger, and like you said, a proud Scottish-Pakistani. And like 6-7 years ago, I started taking keen interest in railways, trains. I love old trains since my childhood, but that doesn't make you a railway enthusiast. So slowly, as I started traveling, I lived in Scotland for about 30 years, and when you live in Scotland or the UK, where the trains were invented, so obviously that can become your favorite mode of transport.
True.
So I started traveling within the UK, and I started reading about the history of trains, and then when I would visit Pakistan, I wanted to explore whatever was left from that era.
Yeah.
And I was glad to see that there's a lot of train stations and paraphernalia that Pakistan has from the British era, because we've not kind of added a lot since the British left. And in the
That's a nicer way of saying it.
Yes. So things, obviously there has been, you know, some additions and modernization, but not at the pace it should have happened. In Scotland and in England, I started visiting heritage railways, because I'm not that keen on modern trains. I love that nostalgia, that childhood nostalgia with steam engines and vintage carriages and all that. Yes, absolutely. And I was pleasantly surprised to find out that in the UK, the heritage railways are run by volunteers.
Okay.
So what they do is, because they want to preserve the old carriages, steam engines, and, you know, the old tracks. So when the government disbands an old railway station, that's not needed. So people come together, they raise funds, they form like an NGO type of organization, and they buy, you know, those railway paraphernalia and carriages, and then they run those railway heritage societies. So I was really impressed, and I thought that I need to do something to maybe, you know, have some kind of replica of that in Pakistan. So for many years I've been trying. Every time I come to Pakistan, I meet the railway minister or somebody in charge, and then next time I come, the government has changed and their priorities have changed as well. But that said, we should always live in hope, so I still have hope. I also want to connect railway enthusiasts in the UK and in Pakistan. And a few years ago, I was lucky to secure some funding from the British Council.
Wow.
And I worked with Pakistani University, history and political science students. We produced a short documentary on the shared legacy between UK and Pakistan around railways. And obviously it was a very interesting project. We involved the youth, and as you know, youth is disconnected with a lot of things that are to do with heritage and history of our region. So I think that is just one kind of step, and I hope through your platform my voice reaches, you know, some relevant people, departments.
And certainly, thank you so much for saying that, because, you know, it brings back so many fond memories to me, because we used to, in my early days, I still remember that we used to go to Karachi you know, with the entire family, and then the bogies and whatnot, and then air conditioned, and you know, so everything came in. Did you actually try to kind of work around how there was a local train system within Karachi?
No.
And people would commute from one place to another?
Well, I have some idea, because we do have, you know, these metros and underground stations in the UK, but I think that's all gone now, because
Exactly.
it slowly disappeared. But what I would like to say is that in Pakistan, one of my favorite train journeys is from Golra railway station in Islamabad to Attakhor. I just love visiting that place because it's just so nostalgic, and the good thing is that Pakistan Railways has preserved that railway station in its original condition. It was built in 1881.
True.
So, and they have museums
There
there
are
for
those
railway
engines over there
enthusiasts.
as well. Yes, I think it's great. How do you feel when you come across, you know, the peripheria of the, when we speak about the trains from the 18th century, or probably, you know, even older than that, if you're speaking about Scotland or UK, I think they might have preserved probably trains whenever they existed.
Yes, absolutely. It's almost 200 years old, paraphernalia, memorabilia. Also, I was pleasantly again surprised that in Pakistan there used to be train signaling system back in those days. The token, it's called token ball system, and it's basically to prevent collisions, because now we have like multiple tracks, but in the initial days there was a single track. So to avoid and prevent collisions, they use that token ball system. It's become obsolete in the whole world, but there's a track in Pakistan, in Peshawar, where they still use that, you know, token ball system. So it's such a great thing for railway enthusiasts, because they read about this in books or maybe see in old films. So if we can bring railway enthusiasts from the UK to Pakistan, they can see it actually happening.
Preserve
Exactly.
heritage.
And not just that, I think in addition to this, there's a lot of romanticism around trains and tracks, and you know, if you go to Europe even now, you get a day pass, you can go to any other country in Europe. And you know, when you watch films, I think the other day I was watching, you know, this guy, I mean, I cannot recall, it's his sister now, you know, who was actually, you know, one of the detectives, intelligence detectives.
All right, I think you're talking about Murder
on the Orient Express.
Yes, exactly. So I think I was fascinated to see, but not just that. I think when we are to kind of speak about trains, I think they have contributed towards economy. Let's talk about Pakistan and India. When Pakistan came into being, it was trains who actually brought our family members. So trains have done quite a lot. So if you are to speak about trains on that topic, what would you share?
First of all, I am also interested, I mean, for me, it's not just a journey, it's a step back in time, and also it's about connectedness. So the trains connected, I mean, South Asia is a huge, you know, region, and before the arrival of the trains, and obviously before partition, somebody living in Bombay and somebody living in Quetta or Balochistan, they didn't know, you know, what the culture was in that area, or so the trains brought diverse groups of people together. And like you were saying, contributed to the economy. And I see a lot of tourism potential in Europe and in the developed world. Train travel, tourism, closely related, and even the heritage railways, they attract tourists from all over the globe.
Exactly.
So if we promote that.
So imagine, you know, a train, you know, leaves from somewhere in Quetta, goes to Iran, then take us to Turkey, you know, and you know, all of that. I think that'll be fascinating. I'll be all for it. But thank you so much, Madam Anila, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you. And imagine that in the 13 years that I've been working in television or media industry, this is for the very first time that I've actually come across a lady like you, you know, who's into trains and talking about that, how, you know, probably the government really needs to kind of look after their heritage, because it's going to speak volumes about how we made it to Pakistan, how our economy was boosted. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Wonderful
you.
To have you.
Can I just say something quickly? If you are interested in heritage railways, then please follow me on YouTube. My YouTube handle is called Scottistani. That documentary I was talking about, that's there as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us, Miss Scottistani.
Thank you so much.
Doing conversation
I love that.
And on this note, I think I'm going to ask Isha now. Isha, have you ever been on a train?
All right, I have not been on a Pakistani train. However, when I went to Europe, I went on the Eurostar train connecting all over Europe. So we traveled on that, which was a very pleasant experience. However, now after this conversation, I do want to visit all the heritage sites and travel on a Pakistani train.